Huh. No. What is even happening?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Look, there's a Jamie.
No.
No?
Mm-hmm.
No camera on you?
I'm not sure there's a camera on you yet either.
Okay.
Let me know when you've stabilized the image.
How you doing?
How does anyone know? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you're still jumping around here. I don't know if I can continue like this.
Well, look at it. Here, how's this?
It's very small.
Let's see here. I like this look here. Let's try it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. I like what you've done with your hair.
Yeah, it's my Andy Warhol wig.
It's your Andy Warhol wig.
Not really, but oh shit, I'm sorry. John Travolta's here. Let me. You could sorry.
This show is for children.
What are children like? Zombies and stuff?
I don't know.
Oh no. Okay. Is that enough of that? I got lots more.
2 more. 3 more. Get it out. Get it out of your system. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's a good one.
I'm trying to get the Thanos if you get it just right. Yeah. Just the color shifted a little bit better there. My lips look blue. I'm pretty cold. Whoop. Is that your art behind you?
It's yeah, it's what I'm working on right now.
Nice. Are you in the garage?
Used to be a garage. I mean,
That's good. A bike
is it a
on.
garage when it no longer holds a car? Yeah, probably, right?
I think
But
so.
is it a garage when what you do in it
It's not a garage thing.
is like you work out in it? Well, you don't. Well, maybe you could work out in a garage, but it's also a place where I paint. So it's like a studio and gym. I converted it, and I guess technically it's still a garage. Yeah.
I think the rule is whatever the realtor gets to write down on paper or the appraiser.
Well,
right?
then it's a garage because I didn't make any changes that required a variance or a permit or anything. You know.
And even if you close it up and make it a room, it's still like a converted garage. Mitch Hedberg said, "It's up to me which room's a bedroom. This bedroom just happens to have an oven and a refrigerator in it. Doesn't make it any less of a bedroom."
Yeah, well, it is. It is the garage, and I really like it in here. It's kind of my happy space right now. But I don't know if it's gonna last until the summer because it gets very hot, and no amount of insulating this will really fix some of that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have a garage, so I don't have a happy place. Yeah. The garage really is the happy place. It's the big room. It's the game room.
Yeah.
The room you can set stuff up in. The garage things that we would do with the garage are set up in our rooms that aren't supposed to be. I'm in the dining room right now, and there's a green screen and a DJ booth and a computer and a drum set.
A green screen.
It should.
What's that about?
We do DJ performances every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's enough of a trouble to set it up that I don't take it down. Yeah. And that's giant camera lights on me now. It's not usually this bright in my house.
So DJ performances for what? What are you playing?
Whatever feels fun. I don't really have anything specific. It's more of our artistic concept and whatever seems to fit that.
Oh God. Well, you know.
Part of a club?
Last one I did was a Halloween special. I made a mask kind of like a Leatherface style, and then murdered my sister and my friends while I DJ'd. We had fake blood, and it made a real mess. It ruined a lot of stuff. We set tarps everywhere, and we went full out. So more than just DJing, little performance pieces.
Yeah. I was thinking about when we went to go see Modulations, the documentary on, I think it was just generically electronica. But how nomenclature obsessed, right? Electronic music has always been in like inclusion, exclusion. No, well, that's not real house, like it has to have this provenance and it has to have this, almost like it's a geographical indicator, and it has to have this specific structures and also still be novel within that structure, almost like a sonnet. It's not a sonnet, right? But I'm so out of it that I think oh, Joe and Jamie are still doing shows. I wonder what nomenclature, is it, what are they playing for that the kids are listening to? Because I have no idea.
Well, fundamentally, electronic music almost hasn't changed an ounce, despite all of the technological advances. It's only changed the way it's made rather than change the sound in the genres that were. But everything splits, of course, and
the forking, right?
Right, it's all forked up now. But you think about it. When we were growing up, there was no YouTube. There was no. God, I look so red in this picture. No, that's the vignette. There we go. You had no YouTube. If you wanted to learn something, you had to learn from somebody. You didn't go learn how to make house music from the library. You went to a school, or you went to you went to the city and you learned from the people who were doing it. And so you have these bubbles of genre and bubbles of style, and maybe somebody moves and brings something with them. But now with the internet has torn all of that apart, and things are instantly transferred all over the planet, and it's allowed these forks to be not regional but internet music. That's really changed. Not so much the sound or the production, but yeah, a little bit. You listen to things like Vaporwave, where it's entirely an internet, just fully would not have existed in any one. No city would have allowed to have birthed that. It had to come from the surrealism that is online.
Right. Well, and I feel like popularity has so little to do historically with any kind of true portion of people that want to hear it or want to see it or want to see this thing, right? You got these control measures of who's going to distribute this and put this on the radio waves. And it's always been a cost breakdown. And
a bit, but
internet music, super internet music, your niche globally could still be, 20,000 people that are into this genre, and it's not a globally significant number, but it's enough that through this connection, this aggregator, you can still put on a show.
Right.
You couldn't do that. You couldn't, like, because you're like landlocked. Like, well, we're gonna put on a show in Jackson, Mississippi, or New Hebron, Mississippi. Let's shoot somewhere like further out. It's like you're not gonna find 10 people here that want to hear this.
Yeah, you had to go to the urban centers.
Right.
Definitely. Oh, I can hear myself echoing in your chamber. That's probably as annoying as looking at someone with a purple face.
I didn't pick up any of that.
Okay, it's done. You ever go to the drive-through at the fast food place and you hear your own voice coming back at you and you suddenly forget what you like to eat?
You did that to me. It was the first experience. So it was like 1996 or something.
That wasn't a setup, but that was a great little transition there because yeah, I absolutely did.
And you were on the other line. I didn't know. You were upstairs at your folks' place. I was downstairs. I was trying to talk to Heather. You had your computer audio in, like you had the phone line through the computer, and you would record snippets of me and her and play it back at interspersed parts of the conversation, and it would like just stop me. Like it would just break my language machine. And I was so confused. And you thought it was really, really funny. And, you know, like 27 years later, like I thought it was really funny too. You know?
Yeah, it come around lifetime later. No, I mean to this day, a good portion of my friends, my ringtone on the phone is them speaking when they didn't know they were being recorded.
Yeah. Right.
And you know, we had a good one. I don't remember if you were there. I probably not at this point. But Matt, Trevor, and I were recording across the street from where we were living. There's that parking garage. Do you remember the parking garage? And they had a valet service. And the way the valet service worked was the guys at the booth would have a walkie-talkie, and they would relay which car to bring down on the walkie-talkie. So, of course, we got a walkie-talkie. We hooked it up to the sound system, and we recorded snippets of them calling for cars. And then we would randomly play them and send them on wild goose chases for cars that they didn't need or didn't exist. That was good times. 492 pickup. I think that was it.
Oh my god.
492 pickup. Eventually the guy's going, I'm not saying that. That's not me.
Right.
Creating chaos with a remote recorder. Good times. Good times.
Well, I've seen it used as a it was developed in Japan into a I don't know, whatever you call it, a deterrent, where they have a gun that's a microphone that like spits back a person's voice just a few seconds late. So it's a weaponized use of their own audio as you shout, because it just stops mobs. You can use it in at scale.
That's brilliant. I'm passionate about what I'm protesting, but I just hate my voice. Do I really sound like that? Boy, I got some life choices to figure out.
Yeah, it's that 2-second delay. That's the real killer.
Yeah, retweeting doesn't have the same effect.
No, personally. Real blind spot there.
I'm seriously, I hate how Jamie,
What?
will you turn this light off? I want to see what happens because I feel like I've been holding my breath. You're so nice and pale on your picture.
I can't even see my picture. It's too far away. And you look fine. You do not look rosy.
Oh, I'm actually physically red?
Yes.
Perhaps I have the COVID. I have that color skin that old washed up rock stars have when they go on talk shows.
No.
That red, where their like noses get bigger and their faces turn red. It's on the back of the light itself. Let's see what happens here.
I'm okay. How do I unplug it?
You don't.
Well,
This is harder than I
reach
thought.
it.
See the little screwy thing right in front of your face. Right, you're holding it with your hand. There you go. We're gonna fix this. This is all about not rehearsing and not having multiple takes, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean,
No, I'm just red.
what I'm finding, in you can totally correct me if I'm wrong, but people have gotten really, really good at crafting content. They are as polished as any Regis and Kathy Lee show. Like, it feels like I'm watching a real show. Their stand-up is tight. Their rapping is tight. Their DJ, like, everybody is so good. They're so good, so choreographed. And it's like, well, I mean, I remember, I'm probably like paraphrasing this quote or misquoting it, in like an award show, about an award show in 1995. Trent Reznor said, "What's so alternative about playing 70s rock?" And that's in reference to like Pearl Jam and like all these other bands who were basically playing Creedence, you know,
and being called alt. Yeah,
I just think people are getting so good that the new entrants to the field of whatever avenue of expression they want to pick up start putting this huge amount of pressure to land it just as tight. But you're making something really good for no one. No one is seeing it. No one is seeing it. You're not finding a sweet spot between like the right amount of effort and the right amount of return, or you're trying to do a calculation of return, and you should just abandon it. Abandon the polish. People have got enough. It looks so much like regular TV, and there's commercials and ads and everything else that, why did I tune into this venue instead of just watching TV? Like, you are just fucking TV. And now you're on TV. You actually now have a Hulu deal, and so your YouTube shows, you've just come full circle, and great for you. If you make something called content, good for you. I want you to pay your bills doing the thing you love and exploiting your children or whatever you're doing. But I don't give a shit about that. I want to see it because it's too hot for TV. There's something on here that they would never show. There's an angle of expression. There's a weirdness to your goddamn face as an independent film crew who also wrote and directed and is starring in it. And you look weird because you're not a celebrity, so I don't know your features. Like, I want to see some of that unknown stuff. So my excuse for being lazy and like totally sloppy in doing this is that no, those kids with their parents, disposable income, they can really make a tight show, but not me. I don't want to make a tight show. I don't want to make it, well, within the first 5 minutes, you've got your setup and you're going to have this stay for the subscribe, win a chance to win these lightsabers. And it's like, I can't do any of it. Yeah.
Mash that button.
I'm saying something funny while watching a thing that you also saw. Like, it's so much simulation, and I don't know, a proxy between experience. I think you and I used to talk about this, and I don't want to go on nostalgic trips, but it hasn't really changed.
I mean, if I'm on the show, we should be going on nostalgic trips.
Well, sure, but I mean, okay, how much did we hate shit in the 90s? But so much of entertainment was watching somebody else do a thing that you could have done, that you worked all day and then you come home to watch a show about work, stuff marketed to teens. You at high school all day, you come home and you watch a show about teens at school. Sports, you're not playing a game, you're watching someone play a game. Porn, you're not fucking, you're watching somebody else fuck. And then we just keep seeing generationally like more proxy experiences. You don't see the show, you don't feel the thing, you don't touch it. And it's like, okay, well, these are great for accessibility. I think it's really awesome for people that can't, or travel is prohibitively expensive, you can't see that painting, but they're not the same thing. They are not the same thing. Seeing a photograph of a work of art is not seeing its texture when you move your head to the side. Like, maybe one day it will be, but it's not smelling it, it's not feeling it, it's not seeing the faces of other people around you or reacting to it.
Fighting.
It's not even going to the movies where a people are going to be loud and boisterous in the audience. Like, that's a fucking experience. You know, people are cheering or booing or talking shit at the characters. Like, when every experience is mediated, it's really weird. You know?
Do you think it's whoa, I can really hear you. Turn your speaker down.
Are you picking up feedback?
Yeah, I'm getting feedback. The brain killing repetition of my voice right back at me. I hear the Japanese have weaponized this.
Oh my god! I'm gonna fucking break something if I keep messing around over here.
Hi, internet. Oh, folks.
It's supposed to know, right? Aren't microphones supposed to know who's talking and when? Like,
Yeah, they are.
about it, like,
apparently we sound so close to the same voice that the computer doesn't know the difference. So anyway, do you think it's a little bit the trying to tone down the content, dumb down the content? None of those are the right words, but it's a little like a punk rock philosophy. Like, sure, I could learn more musicality, but as long as I can only play 3 chords, I can't get caught up in the musicality. And it's pure emotion because I'm not educated in it. It's why the untrained singer sounds so much better than the, Juilliard singer, why we can connect so much better. David Byrne always said something about how he was happy that he wasn't such a great singer because it's hard to believe good singers.
That's brilliant. Yeah, maybe.
And so it feels more authentic to be less polished, And I think that's what we looked for in music when we were growing up. We didn't necessarily search punk rock per se, although industrial was kind of the punk rock of Chicago where we grew up. But you didn't want it overproduced. I think that was the term we always used. This stuff is too damn overproduced. And it just felt inauthentic. And when it sounded like someone recorded it in their bedroom, it felt real. I don't know if it was because it felt like something maybe that we could obtain, that we could do, or there's just something that you lose in that process of education alone.
It's like you're describing the rise of amateur pornography. It was more like something you could attain. It wasn't so overproduced. It was more raw and accessible.
Yeah, really.
Well, because you see it in like each of these kind of vectors of expression and consumption of media. I don't know. I think what you said makes sense. I think that makes sense as like there's a sensory difference, like a touch difference to it. But I'm not thinking about that when it comes to like this show. Not really. I think it would be really hard to be punk today. Like, your controversial opinion, the edginess of fronting of punk, it's not just independence from concept of established production and mainstream, but like there's a certain anger, and it's like, how do you decide like who's most punk right now? The professional athlete who's taking the knee during the refusing to say, like, it's not the same, the shapes of like who is the enemy. It's not, we don't have the luxury to be punk in the same way because there's not some overwhelming monolithic mainstream. But I don't know.
More in the disregard for quality is not the right word. The disregard for, back to polishing it up. The one take, the concept of like, we're going to hit it in one take, and if there's mistakes, there's mistakes. Let it be. That's what we want.
Yeah, well, it seems like from the creation of a thing point of view, there's just a lot of wasted effort in, like, I saw there was a free option to create a newsletter, and so I'm like, oh, I'll click the link. I'm like, oh, what do I say? Hello. All right, that's my newsletter. Like, I don't have another follow up, and yet I know that you could like pour hours and hours and hours into crafting because it's modular. It's set up like a web design. There's like things you could drag and link to other commerce sites, and it's like 6 subscribers. How much am I going to break my back putting anything into this format I don't care about? Like, you don't have to monetize everything. You do not everything. Maybe not anything, but yeah, I really don't want to do that.
Hi.
Hi, who's that?
I'm doing it.
I have a mouthful of cookies.
Oh, hi.
And she's gone.
I can edit that out.
No, you're not allowed to do any editing.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I can do things like this. And you're stuck. You're stuck.
Yeah, but now I have to put a content warning, flickering lights may cause
Are you gonna put a flickering lights warning?
Yeah, I think that's a responsible thing
How's
to do.
that?
Yeah, I'll indicate like the time mark and say just skip over that portion.
Yeah, we don't want to give anyone seizures.
No, unless they ask for it. It's a weird thing to ask for.
Yeah, consensual seizure.
Yeah,
It was hard to say.
yeah, it was a really bad band. I think they sold out in their sophomore album, Consensual Seizure. And they spelled it weird. They like replaced one of the Z's with an S or something, or just S with a Z. I'm not really sure.
I'm gonna pull that red out of my face. Anyway.
DPW.
The Department of Power and Water.
Mm.
Brad played the computer. How ironic. But we teased him for what now is the norm.
Right.
Yeah. He was ahead of the game.
Always innovating. I remember when he got that weird vaporware interim between VHS and DVD, where you get basically a cassette that has a disc inside that has a chip that when your time is up, the media can't be played anymore. And you have to return it. It's like, what the fuck is this thing?
I don't even remember.
Yeah. I can't even remember his acronym, but it was just such a flawed object. There's always like, well, beta was cool and it was better and it wasn't fair. There's like other rival technologies that happen. But that one was a weird one. That one was like just so bizarre.
So it had
basically getting a DVD that just stops working.
As a rental?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're supposed to, yeah, that's weird. And you returned it or you threw it out?
I don't know. I think that you probably just threw it out.
Huh. We're going to charge you less for this exact same thing, but we want to know that you'll be back to buy more.
Right.
You want to watch it again? Pay us again.
Well, nobody was really sure. Like, what did we have? Like, books and records and tapes. And all of us uniformly felt like we bought a book when you went to the bookstore or you bought an album. And you're buying a limited license to that book and a limited license to that album. Like, you're never actually buying it. And so there's obviously things that the rights holder could control, like duration of that license. And now we do it through, look what's leaving Netflix or look what's leaving HBO this month, right? They lose their license. It gets, pulled back.
Yeah, in a real concrete example of that, like iTunes. If you've bought an album on iTunes, you've bought it, you've paid for it, you own it. If they decide not to host it anymore, it's gone. With the rental, you kind of get it, like, oh, we don't have that in our service. But when you've bought it, that they have every right to, literally, back in the day, it would have been coming to your house and going, we know you have that book, give it to us, we're taking it back. It has offensive imagery, and we are not going to allow you to own it any longer.
Yeah, right. That's all books. Every single one of them. Reading this comic book the other day, it said, Flash is the fastest man alive. Okay, well, are there faster non-men? I'm not really sure, probably, based on that statement. It seems like they're trying to say that the fastest man alive is simply the fastest being. It's like, well, I don't know, that's pretty exclusionary. And then it says he's so fast that he can bust and arrest and rough up criminals before they commit the crime. And it's like, well, they're not criminals, dude, if they haven't committed the crime yet.
Yeah. That's my
You're a fascist, Flash.
Minority Report. That's some preemptive, yeah. He does it based on their skin color.
Right. He's always right. Look, the courts support his decisions.
They
has
would
to be right.
Look at him. The fastest judging other people alive.
Right.
Fun.
Yeah. I think a lot about superheroes these days, like while I'm here in Arizona, because I don't think there's very many superheroes set in Arizona. And when I'm like on my backyard, just looking around, I think about like Spider-Man in Arizona. It's just like, fuck. You gotta walk everywhere. There's no buildings. There's no trees.
That was actually a webcomic recently.
Oh, was it?
Do it. Yeah. It's the first panel is a girl getting robbed. She's help me. And then you see a dust cloud in the distance, and it just slowly gets bigger and bigger. And then this fat Spider-Man comes up like, yeah, exactly.
You live in Phoenix?
You're in Phoenix? No,
yeah, basically.
He's in. No, you were in that city that was in the news. What city do you live in?
Tempe, Arizona.
Tempe.
Allison's in Phoenix, you know that?
No, I didn't. I think your county during the elections kept coming up. Yeah.
Don't know.
A lot of counties came up in the elections.
Not hers.
Do I see Bob Ross behind you? Other side.
Yeah.
There he is. Hey, Bob.
Yeah, this is we're gonna shill for my sponsors who are not my sponsor. Bob Ross brush cleaning bucket.
Bucket? I thought you were just supposed to beat the devil out of it on your easel.
Yeah, well, it's got a little mesh screen that sits right about here, and then you can put your turpentine or turpenoid or whatever you want, and so you can kind of get the brush wet, and then you can physically remove excess paint off the brush, so really helps keep them clean. As long as you don't like put them in and then like leave it so long it grows mold.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just fuck it, but it's a nice
stinky brushes. Nobody likes a stinky brush.
I don't think you really know that. Like if you don't clean your brushes, they'll actually start growing mold. They'll know like, this brush doesn't work too good anymore. But it's like, no, it's because there's a lot of moisture trapped in there and it's growing mold and it's gonna rot. Might make you sick. I don't know.
Maybe.
I've just let brushes get moldy before.
I have too. I've seen, many moldy brushes. Different painting, but yeah. And is that other bucket Golden? The brand Golden?
Yeah, well, that's
Or am I reading it wrong? It's really
no.
blurry.
That's a tub of Golden brand gesso, which is a white acrylic paintable surface. So rather than buying new canvases, I had like 11 paintings that had been on sale for 3 years and nobody bought any. Well, he bought one. And so I decided I'm just going to paint over all the other ones. It's not like these are museum classics. Some I've been holding on to since 2006. So paint over them, paint something new, sell them again.
Yeah, you can sell them too as there's a secret painting hiding under this one.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's for future generations to debate the authenticity. In order to fake it. See, that's the real trick for all my future counterfeiters and fraudsters is you have to paint 3 paintings and just over top of each other.
Keep covered over them.
Yeah.
Well, now they know that. Yeah. Well, now they know you ruined it. You'll edit that part out.
I'm in favor of it. I just watched this documentary on a famous fraud ring, and every person they had on who was saying, I can't believe I spent $6 million on that piece and it turned out to be fake. And every art critic seemed like the lens wasn't doing it, but it just seems like they were assholes. And they were telling you, hi, I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole about art, asshole. And whenever they said, yeah, and here was this person who could paint replicas of masters, until people found out they were fake, they loved them and they had an emotional reaction when they saw the picture. And they made a few bucks off of it. I'm like, good, God bless. You're not the villain in this story. If you are making fakes which detract from the living survivability of somebody, it's just like stealing of somebody who's having a hard time, fuck you. But if you're stealing from people that like paid $6 million for a painting that they don't even give a shit about, fuck them. Steal from them. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. What show is that?
I think piracy really, it cannot be a black and white issue. It can't be like a fixed line. Like you guys, I just do not. And I think about IP all the time. And yet, I think there's like a duty to like people that don't have the means to buy a book and they don't have a library. They live in a totalitarian state. Yeah, get a book however you can get a book. I'm not going to judge you on that.
Right.
No matter who you're stealing from, even if you're stealing from a poor author, this person is in hell and you're going to deny them a book because you didn't get your $2.
Is there an approach that's more, I guess, acceptable than another? Like you said, like where you can't just go to the library and get it. Is it okay to download the copy when you could go to the library and rent it? Is there a difference between those two things?
I don't know. I think it's really challenging to try to craft a license for it. Like all of the open license stuff out there for music to software to the arts, they really try. But you almost have to decide this is either going to be for the good of humanity, all I want is attribution, or I'm going to try to make some money. Like you just can't seem to have that both. To contour it to say, case by case basis, you could have this for free and I don't mind.
Right. If someone were to write you, you wouldn't hesitate to be like, sure, here's a copy of my book.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could get out of hand too, where what do you do? Well, I spend all day giving my damn book away to these emails. Yeah. But I give away everything I make for free online. I mean, it doesn't cost me anything to duplicate it. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of, I pay for the services to post and host and all of that, but I'm going to do that anyway. And just leave it for free. A lot on Bandcamp. Do you know Bandcamp? The website?
Is that a movie with Jack Black?
School of Rock.
Oh, yeah, okay, no. So no, Bandcamp. I don't know it.
It's basically a website that has, artist music, but made for independent labels, independent artists. Big names get on there too, but it's really made for indies, and they have a feature where you can download it for free, you can stream it for free if the artist lets you. Most people do, or you can pay what you want. You can fill in the little bubble and say, I want to give them $5 or $10 or $100, and then you pay what you want. So that's how I host everything, and once in a while people pay.
Yeah, I really do like that model.
Of course, I have to work a day job, so But I accepted that years ago, and it's so much more freeing knowing both that you don't have to appeal to anybody. You do absolutely freedom to do whatever the hell you want, because who cares? Because you don't need to sell it at the end. It doesn't need to be marketable. It doesn't need to fit into an expectation or have a chain to an existing thing. It doesn't need to be collaborations with, popular people. It's just free. You just do whatever the hell you want, and then you put it out. But then it also, it's just pressure. There's no pressure, because who cares? And don't look at your stats either. That helps.
Well, that's I don't know, man. Like, a lot of traditional media and I guess contemporary content, you don't make money on the sale of the thing. You make money on the popcorn, right? Mm-hmm. All of cinemas, it's the concessions. Sure. The movie, barely anything, but you make a lot, and so it's like ads, other kind of revenue, all this other stuff. The underlying piece, the transacted thing, I don't know.
You can't sell popcorn.
I think probably the majority of cases, that's not where you make the money. That's a way to get in for these traditional enterprises.
But you can't sell popcorn if you don't have an audience. Yeah. You can't sell the merch if you don't have butts in the seats. So at the heart of it is still that content.
Yeah, no. But that's not a thing that exists in a lot of our tertiary open source licenses, because I don't know if I put it in there or not, but I really wanted anything I write that is 100% free for performances, like you don't even have to add, like put on a play, adapt it as much as you want, any kind of derivative work, don't care. I mean, I care because I want to see it, right? I don't want to infringe upon your ability to do it completely, right? Absolutely. To me, creating a derivative work is, I don't know, more important and near and dear to my heart, just on a personal level, than wanting access to read it because they're going to like it. Like it.
Well, I mean, that's
you're going to make something out of this? That's really cool.
that's the ultimate. The imitation is the highest form of flattery. Mm-hmm. It's kind of along those lines, definitely. Do you think that it could be pushed though into a place where, I guess, to me, just thinking in your case, not specifically towards anything I've done, but when a derivative work becomes, I guess, like a big moneymaker, like someone's really cashing in on something that is derived from yours, where you've open sourced it, and now they're maybe giving you credit, but really you're getting lost in the. I mean, you always hear the name of the screenwriter, the director, the production company. A lot of times you don't hear the story it was based on. So you could see someone abuse your open source.
I would be so happy for them. I would be so happy for them. I mean, God bless. Now, if it was a pre-existingly wealthy person, I would take like everything they own. Yeah. Through like a company. Yeah. The law of secure transactions. I would like no, I'm just gonna take all your stuff. But if it was somebody else, if someone whose family, income was like under a certain, I have no idea what criteria I would like draw the line,
sure. I think
generally speaking, no, God bless. Like, if I coulda, I woulda, but I didn't. I did this instead, and you took that and took it into something else.
Right.
I think it's really different for people who go viral and they can't control, like their TikTok goes viral or something. They did something and it's a viral in a positive way, and they can't. There's so many T-shirts being sold, but none of it's like they can't capture any of it. It's all that probably sucks. And I think my answer, if I was like 20 and homeless, it'd be a totally different answer. But I'm 40 and
fine.
I have a garage, so it's kind of like, go forth, fuck it up,
I need it so bad. I kind of want to just have a garage, and then just like a little corner with a hammock or a bed in it, and just live in the garage. None of my day is spent being in a house. My whole day is spent being in a workshop. You know, it's like that's all I want, and then go pass out, and then go make things.
Well, I'm probably like a few bad decisions away from having to sleep in here one day anyway. So I'll let you know how it goes. Maybe I could have 2 cots and you can make some bad decisions and we can both sleep in here. It'll be great. Just like the old days.
Maybe. I've yeah, I do all right. I would say that I've made all the bad decisions already. But I could probably do a lot worse.
Yeah.
Sports betting's legal in Tennessee now. That's kind of scary. That feels like a slippery slope.
Recreational pot's legal in Arizona now.
Yeah, that would be a slippery slope too.
Yeah. I went to the place for the first time a couple of days ago. It's dispensary. I don't know. I want to call it a pharmacy, but it's, I don't know, dispensary.
Is it like in the TV show where they're like a questionnaire, like, how do you want to feel when you sit down? Do you want to fall into your sofa, and then they go, here's the perfect match of marijuana for your desires. Is that
it? Probably could have been. I mean, in Seattle when it was legalized, that's how it was. But I was having like a weird anxiety day. Like my vision was still acute, but I was kind of like almost walking into stuff. Like I could see it, but it didn't register that there's obstacles in my way, and I was feeling really nervous and high strung. So Liz came with me, and it was almost like when someone brings their parent to a job, not a job interview, but to he would like a job application at your retail place, you know, like, okay, like I just could not like operate. And so I did the paperwork. After like nervously wanting to bolt, we went around to like where you actually go up to the counter, and they were gonna do that spiel. And they're like, how you doing today? You know, the customary, how are you? And I'm like, I have anxiety and PTSD, and I'm like super anxious, and I can't even look at you, and I kind of know what I want, but like, just help me. And they were like so gentle. They're like, yeah, okay, totally got you. You know, what do you need? And like, they're like, tell me this amount of money it costs to buy it, and I just hold out because it's casually like some wad of money. And they take it and kind of flatten it out and count it, give me back the amount I did need to pay. And I was a mess, and they were so gentle with me, and I was really happy about that, because when I'm in these panic disordered states, I couldn't order from Taco Bell like that. It's like really disabling. I don't know.
Yeah. It's nice to have someone to go with you, isn't it?
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah, I crutch on that a lot too.
You never know what things I'm going to be super competent and almost even competitive and ready for, and just charismatically extroverted about. Like, oh, are we doing puppetry of the penis today? Let me show you what I got, you know? And then there's other stuff like, well, I can't go up into this queue and ask them if it's my turn. I can't do that. I'll die maybe. I don't know. Answer the door? Well, who is it? I don't know. I can't answer the door. They have a package I need to sign for? Well, can you do it? Can you pretend to be me? Because I can't do it today.
No, whoa, I'm doing that echo thing. So weird.
Still, is it your
Oh,
machine?
It just came back right now. Ooh, that's so weird.
Is it a setting? Because I literally am not hearing any echo from you.
Maybe if I talk lower like this. Anyway, I haven't felt like that in a while, and hadn't really thought about it until you're bringing it up now. But it used to get really bad. What changed? What could have? There's two big pivotal things I think that I started doing that sort of put my mental state in a safer place, maybe, or a steadier place. And I think one is meditation.
Mhm.
Started doing that. I don't practice currently, but it's almost like I did it for a little bit, and that sort of like fixed something, like it rewired something.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't needed to keep up with it to like keep resetting that. It sort of reset something, and then like my life just got better. And then the second thing was working in the theater and going up on stage and talking to 100 people at once and having them all look at me and be attentive to me, but like being a teacher would be, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And having overcome that absolute deadening fear, that horrifying feeling of being about to go up there, and then just doing it, and that's the out of body experience that it is, of where you're not even sure it's you talking, but somehow you keep talking and communicating and being charismatic, and then when you're done, it's a high, and now it's easy. I just go up and do it, but and I think that rewired some shit too.
I'm surprised because you were in theater in high school. You've been in so many bands and band-like structures where you perform.
Talking,
No idea you experienced like a stage fright, anxiety, whatever.
something about talking to people. It's one thing to, yeah, no, and that's a great point, because, and I hadn't thought about the difference of that, because yeah, I have gone up and been a performer, right? I think you can hide behind the performance a little bit. But going up and talking to people, so more specifically, like working at the theater, and I have to go up and say, hey, this and this is going on. We're going to take another 10 minutes and blah, blah, blah. Or going up and doing the money speech. Hey, thank you all for coming. We're fully, funded by you guys. We rely on money, and having to tell, and that stuff where you're being basically what I imagine being a teacher is like. Well, but when you're a teacher, you're the captain. You're in charge.
And you have a lot of hate behind you. So you can just be like, just stick it to them. They're my enemy.
Yeah.
Wait, that's soldiers. I'm so sorry.
No, I don't know. I think that describes the majority of our teachers growing up. But yeah, that really definitely rewired something. But though, when I would go on stage, I mean, there was lots of alcohol.
Really?
Lots of alcohol. Like we'd go up buzzed, but we would drink and drink and drink on stage. And I guess it's an adrenaline thing, but you don't get drunk until you step off the stage. The minute the show's over, you're floored, like literally on the floor. But as long as you're up there, you bounce around all night. That's an interesting one. That's the only time I've experienced that.
Right. Well, I can't remember what they call that. That's a type of conditioning, like where you get good at a thing in the mental state that you're in when you practice, and when you're at the most often.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like that you couldn't. We'd keep drinking and drinking because I mean, for one, it's like at a club, like you just keep hitting it because, like, what else am I going to do with my hand? And also it was part of the performance, when people are like cheering when you're drinking, but it's real. Like but then you'd step off of there and it would just wash. It was like it dammed up, and when you were done performing, the dam opened and just tried to kill you.
I think I've only been drunk with you like twice.
Yeah, I wasn't much of a drinker back then.
No. Well, we were always either too poor, or there were other ways to get inebriated. But like we just were not drinking. Yeah. You still drink a lot?
Yeah. Yeah. Although I go through, dry times, more than what's the term for it? Of depriving yourself of something specifically.
Marriage? No.
No, some sort of ism, I would imagine. But I do that a lot. Just don't do a thing for the sake of not doing the thing.
Abstain.
Find myself when I find it has become habitual, I'll remove it for a while, just to prove that I can. But then I fall back without any regret, right back to the thing, whether it's alcohol or eating too much things that are white, milks and mayonnaises, whatever it takes.
Right.
Whatever makes my face this red.
Your face is not that red.
Oh, good.
No, you look good.
Purple.
I mean, your hair looks really good. Your beard looks really good, and your face does not look bizarre.
This is my real hair.
There's a person under there.
Yeah.
I like it. It's not gray.
Let's go. There's a couple grays in here. Oh, yeah, it's hard to do in the mirror or in the screen. I can't wear. Yeah. And the beard keeps going.
Yeah.
And it's dreaded up.
Nice.
Yeah. The older I get, the shorter my beard gets. I used to be able to grow it to a point of where I couldn't function. Like one time I got stuck laying down at night because I had rolled over on my beard. And it like pinned me to the ground. That made me cut it.
I think that's how Merlin died.
Who? Merlin. Yes.
Yeah. Famed magician. I mean, like, it wasn't a battle with a witch or a dragon or, like, anything impressive. I mean, I think people lied about that, but, like, really, he just, like, had his beard wrapped around his neck and rolled over wrong. And
if only he had a pocket knife. He probably... No, that would have had, like, internal robe pockets, right?
Yeah.
Wizard pockets. Probably
couldn't get to it. Couldn't get to a wizard pocket.
Into another dimension. His hand's just trying to get to the table. A knife! I need to cut my beard off. Try gnawing it off. You can only get like 2 hairs at a time.
Yeah.
That would be a horrible death.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So back to the wig. I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Cheers. Are you back?
Yeah.
Here we are.
I don't even know if this is recording, really. And I don't care. It didn't give me the normal message that, like, hey, you're supposed to tell people you're recording. And normally there's a picture of me, like, in the corner of the screen that, like, indicates, hey, that's me, I'm being recorded. I don't see none of that. I just see you. Beautiful you.
Beautiful me. Now you see half of me. What are you drinking?
Airplane bottles of whiskey.
Is it kicking in yet?
No, but
Whoa.
It's portion control. Because if you drink an entire 750 milliliter bottle of whiskey, then you've got a problem. But 5 or 6 little tiny bottles, they're small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did 2 days this week. I did airplane bottles,
You
and that was
too?
it. Just one for the night. This
Mhm,
is my portion.
mhm,
This little thing right here.
mhm.
Yeah, it's I do it because I can get something different without committing to like a $30-$40 bottle of something.
Ah, yes.
You know?
Another night of amaretto.
Right, exactly. There's drinks that I'll get and I'll enjoy them, or they can go on the shelf and you come back to them. But the other day, what I got, Gentleman Jack. I don't drink whiskey, but I was like, have some whiskey, and I'll get something nice. And then it's this little like $5 bottle of it, and it was good for the night. I don't need that whole bottle sitting in my liquor cabinet, and the damn liquor cabinet's full. There's no room left. But what'd you say? What are you drinking?
Um, I don't know.
You don't know.
Whiskey of some sort.
This is Irish cream,
Oh.
made in Ireland, with a peanut butter flavor to it.
Mmm.
$7 a bottle. It's
We're
like
putting
milk.
peanut butter in everything now.
I like peanut butter.
Had a peanut butter burger. It was really good.
But what?
A
Like
peanut
as
butter
a
hamburger.
condiment
Yeah.
with meat?
Yes.
Hmm. It was good.
It was really good.
What else was on it?
Bread, onions. It's like stuff. Maybe a slice of apple. I'm not really sure. It was like 6 years ago, but it was really good.
Hmm. The kid was eating something weird with peanut butter the other day, but I bet it was like peanut butter with mayonnaise.
See, that's kind of gross.
Well, you say a burger, so like, where does the condiment cut off? In order to, so you put the
I don't
peanut butter
know.
on it. What has to be removed to not destroy it?
You have to
Onions
know
and
more
peanut
about
butter.
the dark arts than I do.
Yeah.
It's just.
I don't know if I'd ever get an onion out and be like, I'm gonna slap some peanut butter on this. The burger part makes sense. Protein, peanut butter, it's the same thing,
Yeah.
different source.
Yeah. What did you do today?
Worked.
Yeah.
My work is. Do you know what I do?
Mm-hmm.
I modify 18th and 19th century French furniture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My boss goes to France and he buys furniture and architecturals and brings it back, and people with lots of money come in and say, I like this, but it's not quite right. Make it this and this and this and this. And then I, in the style of the furniture, change it for them.
I did know that.
I've been doing it for 13 years now.
Did you read or watch the Pulitzer Prize winning work, The Goldfinch?
I am familiar with it. I did not read it. I actually heard the movie was terrible.
Didn't see the movie. The book is abysmally bad. But this character works at a shop that restores European antique furniture and objects, and I think he starts dabbling in creating his own, passing them off, of course,
Mm-hmm.
But like he's unsympathetic, contrary to my like earlier statement of like defending, stuff like that. But that's really. I know you sent me some of the pictures, and it's an amazingly lustrous world.
It's interesting that it's not so much restoration as it is like destroying it. It's like, oh, this piece has made it 300 years across the ocean. It's been preserved by how many generations of owners, and now I'm going to cut it in half because this person had the right amount of money.
Wow.
That's what I do. We need this to fit in an elevator. Okay. Sometimes it's mostly doors these days, like changing sizes and making things that were wood panels, glass, and stupid simple stuff like that. But once in a while, there'll be incredible, fun puzzle challenges. But each thing back then was handmade. You know, it was before the Industrial Revolution, and it was before there was, the only thing holding form together was like decrees from the kings, like you will make furniture in this style, and then that's what you had to do, or what you're supposed to do, or what sold. Even selling was more of a commission based and a patron base than a market base. You know, so each thing that I work with is so unique, and we don't give any estimates because you don't know what you're going to get into. I have no idea what's behind these 30 layers of paint. I have no idea what I'm going to run into when I tear this thing apart, and you know what it's going to take to come back together. Is there precedent? Sure, we can guess, but Murphy's Law rules the work I do, very much so.
Is there a fun sense of discovery? Like removing paint, getting to a patina, removing that, and then finding something good or bad? Like, is there a sense of like, I'm getting to it?
More than a sense, it's an addictive, it's in the entirety of it. That's exactly what it is. Taking paint off is like a scratch off ticket. That's what we always say. Say, do you like the style of this door? They're like, yeah, what's it going to look like? We don't have any idea. We'll send you pictures along the way. If you hate it, then we'll paint it with something else. And a good portion of the time, they're like, oh, that's so cool. But you'll uncover like the most god-awful color that no one would put in their house. Or you can put in, uncover the perfect color. But more often than not, it's like, when you strip a layer of paint, it's not a single layer. It takes it in these like psychedelic almost patches of it. So you'll say, well, here's the perfect gray, but behind it is the most awful green. Oh, I like the gray, but I don't like the green. Well, it's one or the other. You don't get to have just the one. So you want the green gone? We're going what's behind the green. Cool thing about French furniture is their primers were gray. They use gray primers. What we mostly think of as French gray these days, you hear that term, was just their primer. It's just how they painted the base of everything. So you strip everything down and there's that awesome gray.
Because it's just toxic and cheap.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's probably why I'm so red. I'm totally going to discover at some point, sooner than later probably, that this has been detrimental to my health. A lot of lead paint.
Maybe. A lot of lead.
I don't ever get sick. I haven't had a cold or the flu or anything like that, touch wood, in probably 6 or so years because I'm just in filth all day. Ancient European filth.
Right. Locked in a layer like Jurassic Park style. Instead of a mosquito, it's a little germ just waiting in its version of amber for somebody to say, here, have some oxygen and moisture. See what happens?
Yeah, like a snail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I probably those get inside of my body, and they're like the great ancestors of modern germs. So I kill all of the DNA down the line. Perhaps that's it.
We made it!
Yeah.
Time travelers! We're in the future! Oh no!
Crushed by my immune system. I will get sick one day, and then that will be the end of me. Yeah. I don't think I can be healthy this long, and then... No, mind you, I'm terribly ill. All the time. But I mean like colds. Things you catch.
Oh, yeah.
Things you develop. I got all those.
Oh, yeah, well... This isn't just a retro style. I've got arthritis. It's amazing.
Just in the hands?
Hands, ankles, and several fingers.
How's that? What's it feel like? Because I'm wondering what's going on with me, and I haven't talked to a doctor about it.
It's really new. So, like, about 5 months ago, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I actually had to like get out of bed because my hands just felt hot and swollen. And so I looked at them in the light, and I could just see like my right hand looks gargantuan. Like my fingers just look like sausages, truly like sausages, and they were kind of slow to bend, and I had terrible heat coming through my wrist. It was like unlike anything I've ever. I immediately started thinking, like, is this a heart attack? Like, what's going on here? The pain was of such an acute register. It was like a 7 on a scale of 10. You know, like whoa, 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 whoa! I didn't do anything to ask for this.
You get spider bite,
and then it over the course of the day, it kind of like the flare died down, and then perpetually in certain joints, I started losing mobility and strength. So I'm trying to put socks on or trying to draw, and like 5 minutes into drawing, I'm like, okay, my hand is exhausted and can't open jars, can't work a can opener, just all sorts of stuff. Like, I know my body's really strong. I could brute force it, but my fingers and grip just completely give up.
That is exactly how I feel. None of the swelling and not that amount of pain, but like my left elbow right now, it's like I started weightlifting again a while back just to tone up and stuff, and I had to stop because of that. It's like my muscles can do this. I do this all day, but the joints can't take it. And now it's like I can't do the simplest. I use a lot of pneumatic stuff, and so it's putting attachments on an air hose, and there's force. You got to get it. If I try to do it with this hand, it's nothing. I can't do it. I can't do it with my left hand. Right hand, I'm fine, and it's all right there in that elbow.
Yeah. That sounds like arthritis or some other kind of joint inflammation, thing. It is
awesome.
Yeah. Well,
how old are you now?
When you don't die.
How old are you now? 40?
40.
Yeah. When's your birthday?
I'm not going to expose, information like that for the internet.
It's in July. July. Or June.
They just give me gifts. Yes, in July.
Yeah, we're not recording anyway, remember?
Well, it might not be. I'm not really sure. I never watch them anyway.
Oh, I would never watch this.
No.
I don't watch anything that I'm in.
No, I don't even read my books. I don't really look at anything when I'm done with it. Just like, okay, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, excuse me. I consume the shit out of everything I create. Absolutely. When I make a song, I will probably listen to it 100 times.
Really?
And 99 of those times I hate it.
Why?
There's definitely a philosophy that's probably similar to what you've been saying about the show of like, knock it out, shake it out of the sleeve, like just get the thing done. Don't try to polish anything. Trust in your process, trust in your tools.
Yep.
And the disdain for it is only in the immediacy after the creation. And when I come back years later, rarely do I hold any of that. And I'm amazed that, wow, what was I? Because you forget your processes too. And you're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. I did that. How would I do that? Or where was I? I could never do that today. Like, that's not something I would make today. And that kind of, kind of marvel at those things where when you're so close to the time of having created it, you go back and you're like, oh, I should do this different. I should do that. Because, painting is different. But for a lot of the things I do with film or No, you know what? Writing. I'm sure writing is exactly this way. You craft a sentence, and then you read the sentence, and then change it, and then you read the sentence, and then change it. And then you read the paragraph and change it. You read the
Mhm.
chapter and change it.
Mhm.
And it's this going from the beginning to the end. And what is a red flag in my mind? What stands out to me
Mhm.
that doesn't have the pace or the feel or the tone that I'm looking for, and how can I shape it to be more towards that? And then, okay, now that I've shaped that, how does it work into the whole, and where is that thing again? And you go through and you go through until you just go stop, 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 stop,
Right.
move on.
Mhm.
Whether it's completion of that thing or moving to the next chapter or whatever. And yeah, and then often if it's a full project, I'll look at things as a whole after I've cut myself off. If I've done one song, I've cut myself off of that song, but now that I have an EP or an album, it's like, okay, how does that song fit into it? And sometimes that'll scrap entire words, trying to fit them into a whole project, or have take the concept and rework it entirely to where it might as well be something different. But yeah,
Yeah, well, I think that's
let's do it a million times, over and over and over and over and over again. I'm the only one who does, I'm sure.
well, time fucks with us so hard like that. I mean that the ship of Theseus, right? You replace every single board and every single piece. Is it still your father's ship? It's every single part has been replaced.
As our cells are.
But that's us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all of our bodies, our cells, our brains, our memories, every part is being replaced actively.
Yeah.
We're only remembering it because we keep telling ourselves the same thing again. Like it's just an active copying because we don't have hardware. But when you make something in the physical world, it's fixed. It's done. It doesn't get a change with you. So you look back at something you made while in the moment of making it, you're gonna feel different because you're different, but it's still the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why didn't you change with me? I thought we were in love. Like we're supposed to be growing together. Oh, you're stuck being that?
Hey, how old is your oldest kid?
That we don't. I'm not putting. We don't. No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
no.
cool. So
Yeah.
let's say your oldest kid is 10 years old, right? Uh, when you do you miss the 3-year-old?
Oh, right. No, you love the 10-year-old you're with.
So I've lost a kid, and I've now have adult kids and kids who aren't kids anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's this sort of, I don't know if this touches on something negative or offensive or triggering, but like, I don't know that there's much of a difference between the kid who's not there anymore and the kid who's grown up, in the idea that my adult daughter is not my infant, my toddler daughter.
Right.
I will never know or be able to be with my toddler again. They don't exist. They have ceased to exist. It ceased to exist. Dying? No, because they've grown into something, but they'll never be what they were. It's sort of the same idea of a person getting brain damage, and no matter who they were before, are they the same person? Is he in there? But that's something I think about a lot too. When your kids grow up, you lose your kids. You lose them. They're not the same. I think the idea is that you're supposed to have grandkids once you start thinking about that stuff.
I will say that, yeah, I've definitely, it's like being, you want to be friends with someone that has a boat. You never want to own your own boat. I definitely am going to need to be friends with somebody that has a baby because baby lump weight when you're holding them, like that. It's kind of like certain kind of like it's a monkey primate cling, but they're not choking you. They're not really gripping you. They're just kind of like lumping into you. That releases my like neurochemical of like I feel good for the first
But
time.
other people's babies aren't your babies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different chemical.
Mm.
Other people's babies are like, there's this like, am I going to get canceled because I grabbed the body wrong? Or am I going to hurt the baby? Am I going to, hurt them or like scare them. There's this sort of worry that you're going to cross a line, in whatever direction. But with your own kids, like they're your own kids, you're safe with them, Yeah. I imagine grandkids is like that too, because you're grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut the hell up. I'm the one who changes their poop.
Let's do some formalist content style. What's going to be your name as a grandparent? Are you going to be grandpa, grandfather, grandpa, peepaw, papaw?
When Rev was a baby, I tried really hard to get to be Pops. And it never happened. It just became Dad. I really wanted Pops. I went for it. Didn't work. They knew better. I don't know. I think that's an organic thing that's going to happen. It feels like, traditionally at least, that comes from speech, not impediment, but, poor speech of an infant, where they say they're trying to say grandpa, but instead they go like blip blop. And then you're like, okay, that's my name now. It's so cute. And then as they grow, they remove that, but you still stick with that, what they said when they were first trying.
In some cases it's cultural. I don't know what you called your Norwegian grandfather. Like, I don't know what he preferred,
It was grandpa.
Grandpa.
Yeah. We never had any cool ones. It was just normal grandpa.
They made a lot of choices with you. They were gonna give you that Ragnar, and then they went with Joseph, which is a very fine, respectable name, but it's a American name.
Christian, yeah.
So you maybe your grandpa would have wanted some sort of Viking nickname as grandfather, unless I have no idea. Maybe culturally that grandpa is what totally Scandinavians call grandfather.
Right, just in that language. That would have been cool. I wish we would have done that. I wish I would have thought about that back then and just done it. He'd be like, shit, stop it.
Probably. Assimilation pressure.
Well, it was. I think there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
His parents than in them, because at that point they had been assimilated. But the last name even changed. Johnson was never our original name. It was all that. Okay, how can we blend in? I'm sure that was very necessary.
Okay, so was he born in the U.S.?
No. But 3 years old, I think.
It's so interesting because he still had an accent, like there was still this is not English first language.
I never noticed that.
Really?
I also never knew my mom had a lazy eye. Never knew. You guys are the ones who told me that.
I did?
Well, you and Trevor.
I don't.
Yeah. And I was like, really? Now I'm very, I'm aware of it, but I never do that. Those things never. But yeah. Well, I'm sure. Well,
I have no memory of your mom having a lazy eye. All I remember is if I went over to your house, there was lunch meat in the fridge, Gardettos, and your hot mom, and that's basically what there was at your house, I
remember it that way, but yeah.
I wouldn't think you would, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the dreams of the old houses?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's like the old... Oh, shit. I got a cool one. I'm hearing my voice echo again. It's weird how it comes and goes. So, I'm going to hold the camera or the phone up to the camera. So, wow, that's not very helpful. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So, my parents, when they sold the house, exchanged emails with the people who bought it. It's probably 14 years ago, 15, 2007-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And just this year, maybe a couple months ago, they tore down some knee wall that had been paneling and found this. This is like human height.
Oh my God. It's ridiculous.
It says, thanks for, I'm trying to read it backwards.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for moving the wood. I've been stuck here for a few decades. It's like 1992. They removed it 20 years, or 30?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
20 years later, right?
Oh my God.
And it says, hi, dude. Would you... Oh, why did you tear this wall down? It looked cool.
On brand,
Yeah.
really.
Oh, it is 30 years. God, that's hard to process.
Don't
I
think
said a
about
few
that.
decades, and it was 29 years.
Mhm.
That's some foresight. As a 92, 12 or 13 year old, I understood the cycling of home decor style.
Yeah, by putting this up, we're definitely going to remove it. So before you put it up, put something interesting behind it. There you go.
Yeah. One of my first albums, in the credits I put my email address was, the website was, like I put everything in the past tense.
Right.
For that same reason. Like I can't sustain this shit. By the time anyone hears this, none of this will be true anymore. But you might as well know what it was.
Yeah. Say a word to the audience. I'm gonna stop recording, and then we're gonna like talk candidly. Yeah.
This hasn't been candid?
Oh, we're gonna get more candid.
Cool.
Yeah. So say something. You've got to do like a profound moment here. You've got your pedestal. I've got 5 subscribers. They want to hear your advice to artists coming up in this era. What they call art content.
Wow. Oh, I don't have like a blurb, but I mean, you hear so much about the buzzword I hear, or the buzz term I hear so much now is monetize your hobby.
Mm.
And it's used definitely in the context of we should be able to have our hobbies, have our jobs, and have our hobbies. We shouldn't have to work all day and then go home and try to sell the scarf we're making on Etsy, or show our process of how we learn. Here, let me teach you how to crochet now that I know. And then like you said, all this content overload. But I mean, when you're a kid, you sort of you say, here's my hobby, and now how do I become an adult and monetize it? That's kind of the goal in the first place. At least when you're a creative person, when you're an artist. You're like, I love making music. How do I make music my career? And the closer, and I've never been successful. I've certainly never paid the bills with art creation. But the closer I would get to it, to having a requirement, to owing someone an album, or having to play a show at this time, when you start contracting and stuff, the further it pushed my passion for it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I would abuse those things to see how I could destroy them. Every time.
Right.
It would be, okay, we want you to make 3 albums for us. First album we love, this is great, you're on board. And the second album, I would go, how can I get them to fire me? What can I do on this so that they'll go, you know what? Never mind. We don't.
Lou Reed, right? Just like, oh shit, that's due today? Well, let's take some speed, go in there and make an album today. It's due today. Okay, yeah. Fine. How bad could it be? And that's bad.
I've got stuff out there that I regret having it out there. I mean, if I say now I can't teach. I can't run for office because someone would just pull this material up that I specifically made as offensive as I could in order to try to upset people who had given me money. It was just something in me.
Well, yeah, but there was, truly a 60% chance we could have been South Park. They weren't that much ahead of us in age, and they weren't at all ahead of us in what they were doing. We could have done it.
Yeah. and yeah, Trey and Matt,
Oh, I love
their
them.
philosophy, as far as I know, was always like, what, why did you do this? And the answer is, well, because it made us laugh.
Yeah.
Because it made us laugh. We thought it was hilarious. And there's so much humor in like bucking the system.
Mhm.
It's so funny to
Mhm.
be in a position where where you can just turn in that work that your teacher goes, no, you're getting an F. This is
And
brilliant.
I
but
know
you're getting
to
an
like
F.
people who are like trying really hard, it's offensive. They're like, you know what? I'm on a scholarship, and I worked really hard to be here, and you're disrespecting me. And it's like, no, it's not you. It's capitalism. Like I'm disrespecting that any of this is important because this isn't love. You don't see me doing this shit to someone that I love and who loves me back. No. You see me doing this shit to like situations that are fucked in the root. Yeah.
Yeah. You turn into the record label, the song that makes them go, I want nothing to do with it.
Nothing.
You do a loving dedication to a family member, and and say, here's my gift to you, and it tears them up, and that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely not everything is about a middle finger. It's yeah. But I think my point more than anything is there is such gratification in not answering to anyone
Mm.
creation and not worrying about monetizing your hobby. Just doing it to do it. It's nice that we can put stuff out available and have people happen across it. And I do a few like tags, hashtag this so that maybe somebody stumbles across it in a deep search and they're digging and digging. But yeah. The creative need never goes away, but the idea that it's somehow going to define you
Mm.
or make you live forever, I
Mhm.
think that goes away.
Yeah.
There's always something in
Go
the
in the
back of your
first
mind,
place.
hoping that when you die, somebody goes, oh, and then it goes whoop, and everyone knows it. But I never know. But everyone knows. You know,
All right, people. Joe and I are gonna go talk in private. Thanks for watching for an hour and 32 minutes. Bravo! This is our longest episode yet.
we could keep going.
No, we're